Let's talk habits, shall we? It's that time of year when folks love to create new habits, myself included. There's something really hopeful and exciting about the new year. But the majority of new habits set in the new year are a bust before they even reach liftoff. But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm body positive health and fitness coach Gillian Goerzen, and today I'm going to share my top 5 tips for building habits that stick. In case we haven't met, I have a degree in kinesiology and I'm a registered personal trainer and certified intuitive eating counselor with over 20 years experience as a health and fitness coach. And I'm also a human who gets the struggle it is to build new habits and maintain them. So these tips are all realistic and real life friendly. So let's dive in. Tip number 1 is to set the bar low and establish the rhythm. When you're first establishing a new habit, focus on creating the rhythm of doing the thing, not the perfect version. Plus, there's no perfect version. Humans are, and life is inherently, beautifully imperfect and unpredictable. Make the habit version a total no-brainer with this non-negotiable simplest version of the habit. Create success and that rhythm with that, and then over time you can scaffold it up into what your ideal would be. So tip number 1 was set the bar low and establish the rhythm. Number 2 is to use the habit loop. Identify the cue, routine, and reward within the habit. This comes from Charles Duhigg's work. If you haven't heard of it before, highly recommend his book. The cue could be visual, auditory, or also situational. Set it and don't create the habit of ignoring it. So you might use a visual cue like a post-it note, an auditory cue like a phone alarm, or situational like tying it to another habit that you already do, like brewing coffee in the morning or brushing your teeth at night. Routine. This is the behavior itself. It's what we like to think of as the habit, but it's only part of the habit. We have a cue, a routine, and a reward. So routine is the behavior itself. Then the reward is, either intrinsic or extrinsic. Intrinsic rewards take time, that sense of this makes me feel good. It's not always immediate. So you may need to start with an extrinsic reward like a fun little coloring tracker or a sticker chart. And over time, that felt sensation of success and those feel-good hormones will absolutely help. So number 2 was to use that habit loop, the cue, the routine, and the reward. Number 3 is to reflect to reinforce. One of the reasons gratitude practices are so effective is because by reflecting on what you're grateful for and thinking about gratitude, you're reinforcing that wiring to both look for what is great and helping to consolidate that memory of gratitude. You're rewiring your brain. You're working with how your brain works and learns. One of the practices I use with all of my clients is something called counting your wins, to reflect on what went well so that you might consider what was bumpy and then revise it, revamp it, or refine it to make it work for you. But you focus on what went well first and you build from there. I recommend setting aside some time to reflect on your wins, on your new habit on a daily basis. That's going to help reinforce that more significantly. So reflect to reinforce. That's number 3. Number 4, view all habits as a work in progress. I like to think of the first trial of a new habit as the first iteration of an experiment. It may, but more likely will not, be the long-term version of that habit. Be open to and expect to tweak it along the way and keep it working with your real life. This attitude is also helpful because life isn't a static thing. It is ever changing. So your habits need to have that flexible structure to work with your real life. So remember, All habits are a work in progress. There's no kind of final version of the habit and that's it, and that's what you'll do for the rest of your life. Very likely it's going to be more malleable than that. So view them as works in progress. Number 5, this is one of my faves. Look for high ROI habits. I am all for making the most of your efforts. So try to identify habits that give you the most return for your investment of time, money, and energy. That biggest return on investment, or ROI. I often like to think about finding habits that support my body, my mind, and my spirit. So that bigger picture holistic. For me, that's the like trifecta of an awesome habit if it's really impacting multiple areas of my life and well-being. I hope you found those habits tips helpful. If you found it helpful, don't forget to subscribe so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Before you leave, you might also want to explore some of my other body positive health and fitness content. Have fun exploring and have fun creating your new habits that work with your real life, and I'll see you next time.